And welcome to Graham White. It's nice to see you this morning, Graham. And you didn't have to travel miles to get to be with us. I guess if I go down to Goddard, I can remove that message right there. I'm getting better at this technology, guys. I use an iPad. I don't use a laptop. We'll start off with the land acknowledgement. On this day, September 29th, 2022, we acknowledge that this sacred land on which Smith Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We are also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smith Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of the generations to come. And of course, tomorrow is a very, very important day. And I know there's lots of things happening here in Smith Falls, and hopefully I'll be able to take part in them. Just a few remarks. It's certainly been a difficult few weeks in policing, and I know you join with me in sending our sympathy out to the services involved in the tragedies, and thank the chief and the deputy and the members of our service who traveled to the funeral service. It was certainly very impressive to see, but at the same time, very heartbreaking to see a family who's lost a husband and a father and a son and a brother. On a happy note, congratulations to Aaron Tompkins, who is receiving the Community Services Award from the Algonquin College Alumni of Distinction Award. And I believe, Chief, that's happening today, is it not?
Yes, it is today.
Yes. So once again, congratulations. Congratulations to our deputy chief who took part in an excellent interview. I don't know if any of you heard it, but on In Focus with Bob Perot, I believe on Tuesday, Jody, and it really was an excellent interview highlighting females in policing, but also all of the things that we do. And Jody said, well, to me after, there's lots more things I could have said, but it really was very well done, Jody, as does Aaron when he's on his monthly. Lenora and I, just in closing, Lenora and I forwarded a summary of a webinar hosted by the Canadian Association for Police Governance that was forwarded to us by Neil Fennell, who's the chair of our zone. And I hope that if you haven't read it, that you take an opportunity to read it. Chief, I'm sorry, I don't know if I forwarded it to you or if Lenore did.
No, I don't think I got that. No.
Well, if not, it's an excellent summary. Graham, were you able to take part in it or see it?
I get the transcript afterwards. So
okay.
It is fantastic, though. Would encourage folks to do it.
And, I think it's a wonderful training or retraining opportunity for all of us. And just 3 points, and I'm not going to go into them, but if you would, I think it's really important for board members to look. The first is the operational independence. And a lot of this webinar came out of the protests that happened, and perhaps the role that police service boards need to be playing in what's happening during these and after these. The second, which is very interesting, is the political polarization in Canada and the effect that it's having on the military and on policing, and that councillors and mayors and police service board members need to be very cognizant of this. And I don't think it's probably a major issue in a place like Smith Falls, but then we never know, because in my years on the police service board. I've seen such a change in the manager's reports and in terms of incidents that are happening. And the last one is the training of board members. And again, the new act is going to be a lot more specific, but this certainly goes into it. And I understand this is going to be monthly, Graham, isn't that right?
That's right.
Each with a different topic. So this one, it was a professor from Ottawa University. So once again, not to belabor it, but if you haven't had an opportunity to read it, it's a quick read. It's not pages and pages long. Okay.
If I could just add to your remarks briefly, Madam Chair.
Sure.
I just wanted to acknowledge as well, just our chaplain, Reverend Christopher Ryan, put on a very nice service. As you're aware, this past weekend is the National Police Memorial. Unfortunately, falling right on the heels of the two officers, Constable Hong and Constable Gillespie's deaths. So the Reverend always does a mass at the Trinity Church to commemorate the National Police Memorial, and the deputy and myself and Aaron and Constable Brett as well. Constable Brett was extremely close friends with Constable Gillespie from the York Region Police that passed. They were both in each other's wedding parties and very close friends. So it was very difficult for him. So it was an excellent memorial service. So it was very nice to attend that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as well.
Thanks, Chief, for doing that. I had every intention of attending, but unfortunately, I had something else come up. Graham, will we put you on at under new business? Did you have something you wanted to say? I never want to omit you.
No problem at all. So no agenda from my side today. Was happy to visit with the Ontario Association of Police Services Boards and the OICP group in the last couple of weeks and share a substantive update from the ministry side. So if the board or any individual members or the chief have questions about the grants, policy programs, whatever it may be, with respect to our work, we're really happy to receive a reach out, and I'm happy to speak to those things, directly or in writing as they're raised. Okay. One thing I'll note, from my perspective, I think the last couple of meetings in Eastern Ontario, the chiefs meeting and the boards meeting, I think they were both well attended, and it seems that folks are very much plugged into all manner of policing issues. So I'm happy to be part of those groups and share our updates there. But barring any specific questions, I'm just happy to be here with the board today.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to put you to work during in camera. So, any additions to the agenda?
Just the one addition. It did go out to the board as a revised agenda, but just in the last couple of days. So it is the final audited 2021 budget. It is on the revised agenda, but that didn't get posted with enough notice. So I just want to indicate that is added on to the agenda. Okay,
that was item A, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Item A.
Okay, thank you. Any declaration of interest? Not hearing any. Motion to move in camera, please. Chris Babcock and Jen. Chief, you're letting Sean know?
I am so. And we are out of camera.
Okay. The Horizon report is an update on staffing issues and methods of dealing with in-camera minutes.
And then we'll need the resolution.
Resolution.
Motion for
Yeah, so we need a motion for the advertisement of a constable. Chris Babcock, did I see your hand up for the motion? The seconder, please. Jen? All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondence that was circulated. We have a thank you from Rick LaBelle for his retirement get together. A thank you from Janice, and I was speaking to Janice yesterday. She was in touch. She's slowly improving, still has some ongoing issues, but asked me to say hello to everyone and to tell you that she misses us. I'm not sure she misses the meetings, but she misses us as people. How's that? And the financial request, which we'll deal with under new business. The minutes of July the 21st. Everyone I know has read them. And if everyone is happy with them, if there's no errors and omissions, a motion to accept, please. Sean and Jen, thank you. All in favor? Good. Okay, business arising. Chief, the 2021.
Yes, the town received the final audited budget in August, I believe it was. So, and part of that obviously is our police budget. So I'm happy to say that it went through the audit process very well. Just some of the highlights to the budget, and I just and that budget for 2021 was just under $5 million, not over five, under five. We had a surplus in our capital expenditures. We came in a little under budget in our about $13,000 under in our capital expenditures. We some of the other areas with some significant surplus was in our salaries and wages, and with staffing shortages, and in our payroll, other payroll costs, which is our benefits. There was some surplus in those areas. We also had some great funding through some grant funding that really assisted with our initiatives. Obviously still in with COVID, we had surpluses in some of the areas dealing with our training, with officers going away for training and doing more virtual types of training, and travel related expenses. We did have an issue at the end of last year. You'll remember with in our IT with one of our server systems crashing, so that put us over budget in that area. Some of the other areas that we remained on budget with a little bit of a surplus is our building, which as the board knows, our building cost is part of our budget, which isn't always the case with the well, it isn't the case with the province with the OPP detachment. It's not part of their costs or budget. So our building costs are part of our budget. And other than that, in our other areas, we showed some moderate surpluses. The total for last year, our budget came in at $4,859,376, which was a $108,962 surplus, which equated to about a 2.2% surplus in 2021. So that is the 2021 final audited budget, and so that's put forward to the board. You had an opportunity to review it as well. Certainly entertain any questions or comments for the 21 budget, and then would ask that the board pass a resolution to accept that budget.
Questions, comments? Well, it's good news when we have a nice surplus like that. Chief, thank you to you and your staff for your diligence. Any other comments? Questions? Not hearing any. A motion, please, to accept the 2021 audited police service budget. Sean and Chris Babcock. All in favor? Thank you, everyone. Hey, Chief, the 2022.
So our 2022, the last budget monitor that was circulated was our the August 31st budget monitor. Bottom line on that, we're showing a surplus of approximately 45,000 or 1.4%. Our total budget for 2022 is just over 5 million at $5,075,524. Happy to say in our capital side, I think everything is well. We finally, unfortunately, police vehicles have been difficult to come by. So we finally, that vehicle is in and scheduled for delivery and outfitting. So we'll get that vehicle on the road, well needed. I think the vehicle that we were letting go is our community service van that is getting up there in years. It's been a good vehicle. I know that the town was looking for a vehicle as well, and we had offered it to them when we're done with it. So I know they've been sort of waiting patiently on that, but we will. The plan was, if they still require a vehicle, which I think they do, for between, I think, bylaw and engineering, they'll be able to have that vehicle. We'll get it to them as soon as we can do the switchovers. Also, just with our phone system upgrade, that project I believe will be coming in under budget. We had budgeted about 25,000. It'll probably come in at about $20,000. The system is in. We have the phones, and we've done some initial training, and then there's obviously some software patches and to get those in place. But they're all and they're also all compatible for the next generation 911 that we have also put $25,000 in, that we've been doing every year. That will come in the next about a year and a half, where we'll have to make the switch over to the next generation 911 system. Otherwise, through the 2022 budget, we are showing a little bit of surplus in our salaries and wages. Our overtime costs, unfortunately, are online a little on the high side, but we have been keeping them under control as best we can, thanks to the deputies' scheduling, and certainly thanks to our staff as well. That sometimes there's some last minute juggling of shifts and whatnot to get things covered. So that's but those costs are sitting on the high side of the projected budget. Some surplus in our payroll, other payroll costs, which is our benefits, and that's generally because of staff that are off, and some of those premiums and whatnot get waived. We're tracking well in a lot of our day-to-day operational lines, or supplies, uniforms, travel expenses, training. We still have some training coming up in the fall, some of our mandatory training, and some of our firearms requalification training. So we're tracking well. We do still have some expenses coming through on some of those lines through the fall. In our firearms line, obviously with that training is restocking and purchasing of our training ammunition. Professional fees, we're tracking quite well on that, but we do get some of the bills that come in at the end of the year. We did just migrate over with our new digital evidence management system with Axon. So there's those fees that come in there, as well as our Health IM for our mental health management program and the IT support that we get there for our MCERT team and our staff here that deal with people in mental health crisis. So those will be coming through on that line. Still some property, and again through our property maintenance and property repairs, we're tracking well in some of those areas. There is still some fall cleanup and some matters that we have to deal with the building, some eavesdropping, and some maintenance repairs that need to get done before the winter months. And unfortunately, one area that's tracking high as well is our fuel costs, and obviously that's a reality of the cost of fuel. Luckily, they have come down somewhat from what they were, but when they were at the peak of the costs, that's where we really saw that spike in the fuel for the cars. But that's we'll have to deal with that, obviously, and sort of try to get a bit of a projection on what next year will bring, with sort of find a happy median with fuel costs, or where we perceive it to be, and budget accordingly. Other than that, I think we're tracking pretty well in our day-to-day operations and overall budget. Obviously, still maintaining a bit of a surplus that, and there's a number of areas in the budget monitor that don't show a variance yet because of the late in the year expenditures that come through some of those lines. But I'm confident that we should be able to keep this budget till the end of the year.
Good. Questions? Comments? Okay, thank you, Chief. So we can move on to the 2023 budget.
So just in new business, the 2023 budget, just to let the board know, I have started some early work on that. One of the big things, and is obviously the biggest part of our budget, is our HR, our salaries and benefits and whatnot. So I've been working with the town on getting our payroll spreadsheet set up for 2023, so that we know where that budget line will sit and fit in with the rest of the budget. I have also obviously in monitoring our day-to-day expenses and our operational expenses, start looking at where those budget lines are, and where there's any potential savings in reducing some of those lines, and also likewise, unfortunately, in some areas, such as I indicated, fuel costs, where we might have to tweak some of those lines up a little bit. So so that's I don't have obviously any sort of idea of where we're at yet, but certainly I'll keep the board up to date. I know with elections, I think the whole process for the town gets put a little bit later as far as budget preparation, first drafts and so on. So that'll go a little bit later, but we'll certainly, as a board, I'll keep the board informed of where we're at, and put a draft budget, if you will, to the board to review and look at prior to going to first draft to council. So certainly any questions or anything at this time.
Everybody looks content. Okay, thank you. The next item, the donation for Lanark County Interval House and Community Support. I checked with Lenore and the chief yesterday, and You remember a couple of years ago, we discussed the fact that we had a request twice a year, and we decided that it was perhaps preferable to make one donation instead of doing two 500s, that we do 1,000. And May 19th this year, we did our $1,000 donation for the year 2022. So that item is taken care of. Graham, did you want to say anything at this point or not? Up to you.
I'm okay, folks. I'm happy to be here, and if there are direct questions about agenda items or anything else, I'm happy to answer.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Graham? Okay. So the deputy, we'll turn it over to you for the manager's report.
Good morning. So for the month of July, the police service responded to 714 calls for service. And to highlight some of what our service was involved with in the community during July, on Canada Day, we attended Lower Reach Park. And it was nice to finally have some festivities down there again, including our annual bike decorating and parade contest. And we'd like to thank the Smith Falls Crime Stoppers and Victim Services for also being down there with us. And that day we had no major issues during the day or at night. And on July 10th, we had officers attend and participate in our annual Cops and Kids Fishing Derby. We had over 125 kids registered for this event. It was a beautiful day. And the kids had a lot of fun. It was actually interesting to see what kind of fish are actually in this water that we have around here. But our thanks to Victim Services, Crime Stoppers, Smith Falls Kinsman Club, Smith Falls Canadian Tire, Big Jim McLaughlin Fishing, Mindful Fishing, and Peter Larmont Outdoors for sponsoring the event and providing us with some great prizes for the kids. And on July 24th, our police association sponsored a charity softball tournament to raise funds towards our local victim services. Constable Tompkins and Gauthier organized the event for our emergency first responders. So we had a total of 6 teams made up of members from local fire, paramedic, and police services across this county. And thanks to them and to their families, we raised over $3,000 for victim services. And we had a lot of fun doing it, just a little bit sore after that. Our uniform patrol calls for service of note. So for traffic, we had 11 reported collisions, 40 complaints of traffic, 81 vehicles stopped, and 41 charges laid as a result. We had some criminal charges relating to driving offenses. We had 2 charges for dangerous operation of a conveyance. We had 1 flight from police, 1 resisting arrest, 1 charge of Controlled Drug and Substance Act, 1 for possession of Controlled Drug and Substance Act, 1 theft over $5,000, 1 open liquor in a motor vehicle, and 1 charged of smoking in a vehicle with a passenger under 16 years of age. There was a total of 51 charges relating to speed, stop sign, and other highway traffic related offenses laid. Our step target in July was offenses relating to impaired operation, driving, and drugs and speeding. As a result, a total of 20 speeding charges were laid, dangerous driving, possession, and possession for the purpose of trafficking, and open liquor. Officers during that time conducted rides during their shift and checked boats going through the locks to ensure compliance of alcohol-related offenses. We had lower hours of bike patrol, and that was because of higher call volume, and our bike patrol had to be called off to assist calls for service. We had 28 hours of foot patrol. Some noteworthy calls: we had 22 intimate partner violence calls for service, 4 drug-related calls, 11 mental health calls, 32 theft-related calls, and a lot of those were to do with vehicles that were being rifled through. We developed more education awareness to the public, and there were some charges laid regarding to some of the thefts. We had 3 break and enter charges and 11 bail violations laid and some warrants executed. Our criminal investigation branch assisted OPP in a joint forces operation, drug-related. We assisted Brockville Police with an outlaw motorcycle gathering in their city, continuing to investigate into a large fraud. continuing our investigation into the femicide file. We assisted Ottawa Police on Canada Day and assisted uniformed members with their investigations, assaults, frauds, and trials. They had some trials during July. Our community service officer, he participated, of course, in the Canada Day event, the fishing event, and the softball tournament. He was involved with the situation table meetings, MCERT team meetings, Crime Stoppers, Lake 88 interview to showcase his initiatives in the community for August long weekend. He conducted bike patrol. He covered our frontline calls for service during some of our staff shortages and media as well. Our officers have been providing traffic control detail in July and August and into September for the construction at Elmslie and Beckman Street. So that's taking a lot of toll on their days off from regular patrol. For August, we had 717 calls for service. On August 28th, myself and Constable Tompkins attended the Special Olympic Bocce Ball Tournament. It was held at Lower Leach Park. They hosted the event with participants from Kingston Special Olympic chapter, and we're very happy to be there again. And there were some fantastic prizes for them too. On August 31st, Starbucks in Smith Falls hosted an overdose awareness day with our service, and it was called Coffee with the Community. The event promoted awareness, community partnership, and collaboration between police, Lanark Leads and Grenville Addiction, mental health, health unit, victim services, and members from our Lanark County Mobile Crisis Response Team. Our uniform patrol, we had 13 collisions reported, 28 traffic complaints, 99 vehicles stopped, 46 charges laid. Criminal charges related to driving was one charge of dangerous operation of conveyance, another charge of flight from police, 4 charges of operation while prohibited, 1 charge of refusal to provide a breath sample, 1 charge of possession of property obtained by crime, 2 open liquor charges. The Highway Traffic Act, there was a total of 62 offenses with charges laid, with 10 offenses laid under the Compulsory Automobile Insurance Act. Our step target in August was related to pedestrian cycle safety and distracted driving and stop signs. As a result of that step, 27 charges were laid. We had 31.5 hours of bike patrol and 35.5 hours of foot patrol. Some noteworthy calls, we had 14 intimate partner violence calls, 13 bail violation charges, 6 assaults, 2 break and enters, and 37 thefts. And again, it has to do with vehicles being broken into, being unlocked. And a local dealership had some catalytic converters stolen. We're still investigating that one. There were similar incidents reported to a dealership in Perth that had a significant number stolen as well. In our criminal investigation branch, there was this continuing joint investigation into theft of catalytic converters, assisted with warrants of arrest of people in our area. They're continuing with the investigation into the femicide file and a large fraud as well. Mobile surveillance was conducted to target some drug activity complaints in our community, and there was a warrant that was executed on McGill Street in Smith Falls with OPP CSU assistance. Our community service, Constable Tompkins was involved with organizing that Starbucks Drug Awareness Day, and he organized and invited all our community partners to the event. He also participated in the situation table meetings, the MCERT team, Crime Stoppers, another Lake 88 interview. Constable Tompkins did a bike rodeo in the Kinsman Club helmet sticker campaign with community partners, Kinsman Club, Lanark County Paramedics, Crime Stoppers, and hosted at Canadian Tire parking lot. He attended the Smith Falls Child Development Center and interacted with youth and found out what it's like to be an officer in our community. He attended the Smith Falls Fire Association Touch a Truck Day. Community members were able to see and go into the police and fire truck vehicles, and that was to raise money for the Smith Falls Fire Association. There's a meeting at the health unit to discuss this overdose awareness that's going on in our community. Assisted on the front line during some staff shortages, conducted bike patrol and media. I had one officer attend the Ontario Police College for a Scenes of Crime training course. And for us, myself and the chief, we continue to be active locally and on the provincial and federal level and attending the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police Conference in June and the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police in August. These membership opportunities assist us in staying current with policing issues across the country and allow opportunities to see innovative solutions to issues and new technologies to better policing here in Smith Falls. And the chief continues to participate as the director for Zone 2 of the OACP, participating in provincial meetings as well as local zone meetings. And both the chief and I meet virtually with the Eastern Ontario Chiefs groups. And again, it's great networking for us to remain current and be able to reach out to our partners for any assistance and hopefully be a voice in the future with issues that we're seeing in Smith Falls and surrounding areas. And that's it for the manager's report.
Oh, thank you very much, Deputy Chief. That's a very comprehensive report for 2 months. Any questions or comments? Jen?
I just had one comment, and it was just that your reports were so thorough, and it just made me so happy to have community policing. It's amazing, not only obviously to see all the policing that's been done, but just the community involvement that happened over the summer. And I know having children in the community, being able to see all of you out there at events, and Canada Day was wonderful. And I saw everybody, all the officers that were down there walking around. It was lovely to read. So thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Jen.
Okay, just on a final note, I'm sure you join me in wishing longtime member of the Smith Falls Fire Department, Randy Normandin, well after his very long career. I believe tomorrow he starts retirement, so we won't be seeing Randy behind the wheel in the big red pickup truck going around town. So best wishes to Randy. Date and time of the next meeting, and of course this board is winding down. We only have 2 more meetings, so.
If I could suggest October 27th, if that's available to the board.
8:30,
8:30 would be fine, yeah.
is that okay? The election will be over and we'll know what's going on. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. We went a little over the time we usually do, but we had a lot to discuss. So thank you. And a motion for adjournment, please. Chris Babcock and Sean, all in favor? Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the sunshine that's out there and the big weekend in Smith Falls. Lots of things going on. So take care.
Thanks very much, everyone.